You are the master of your fate. Let's begin. Listen closely, because this idea can utterly transform your life. Most people are held back not by what they genuinely lack, but by what they believe they lack. They carry a mental list of their weaknesses, their shyness, their past failures, their unconventional background, their lack of a certain skill, or a difficult personal trait. They see these as permanent roadblocks, fundamental flaws that limit their potential. They spend their lives trying to hide them, overcome them by brute force, or simply surrender to them. But I tell you, this is a profound illusion. It's a strategic mistake that keeps countless individuals from achieving their definite chief aim. In my study of the world's most successful people, the industrialists, the innovators, the leaders, I discovered a critical truth. They didn't eliminate their weaknesses, they transmuted them. They didn't see a flaw, they saw a unique starting point, an unconventional angle, or even a hidden source of power. Consider this. Perhaps you see your shyness as a weakness. Most people think extroversion is key, but what if that shyness makes you a better listener, a more keen observer, or someone who chooses words with greater precision? What if it allows you to build deeper, more meaningful connections with fewer, carefully chosen people? Maybe you view your past failures as a heavy burden, proof that you're not good enough. But what if those failures have given you a unique education in resilience, grit, and what not to do? An education far more valuable than any unbroken string of successes. You might believe your unconventional background or lack of traditional credentials is a handicap, but what if it frees you from rigid thinking, allows you to innovate where others are stuck in old patterns, or gives you a perspective no one else possesses? What you label a weakness is often just an unrefined raw material. It's an energy, a characteristic, or an experience that you haven't yet learned to strategically deploy. The world rarely rewards those who are simply average, or who perfectly fit a mold. It's the unique, the unconventional, the individual who finds power where others see only deficit, that truly stands out and achieves greatness. The strategic mindset doesn't ignore challenges. It doesn't deny reality. Instead, it asks a more powerful question: how can I use this to my advantage? It seeks the leverage point, the unexpected angle, the hidden strength within the perceived deficit. In the coming sections, I will show you the 4 crucial steps to develop this strategic mindset. We will explore how to take what you believe is holding you back, and through deliberate mental and practical engineering, transform it into your most potent force. Your greatest asset is not what you possess, but how you perceive what you lack. It's time to shatter the illusion of weakness. You cannot solve a problem with the same mindset that created it. You just heard me speak of the illusion of weakness. Now, let's turn that insight into the first, most crucial strategic step: the radical reframe. This isn't just positive thinking. This is a deliberate intellectual act of changing the lens through which you view a perceived limitation. It's understanding that the problem isn't the weakness itself, but your definition of it. Your definition determines your destiny. Most people define their weaknesses in terms of deficit. I'm too introverted. I lack social confidence. I've failed before. I lack the ability to succeed. I'm not good with numbers. I lack financial intelligence. This deficit-based thinking traps you. It focuses on what's missing, on what you can't do, and it paralyzes action. You cannot build power from a place of perceived emptiness. The radical reframe asks you to consciously shift your mental perspective. Instead of seeing a weakness as a lack, you must actively seek its inherent characteristic, its potential, or its unique byproduct. Here's how to apply this strategic reframe. 1. Identify the trait, not the flaw. Instead of "I'm shy," reframe it as "I am thoughtful and observant before speaking." Instead of "I'm bad at public speaking," reframe it as "I excel at one-on-one communication and deep listening." Instead of "I failed that business," reframe it as "I gained invaluable experience in what doesn't work and learned profound resilience." Instead of "I am impatient," reframe it as "I possess a strong drive for efficiency and rapid progress." 2. Seek the inverse power. Every so-called weakness has an inverse strength. The person who is slow to trust might be incredibly loyal once trust is earned. The person who is stubborn might possess unwavering persistence. Ask yourself, what is the positive side of this trait? What unique attribute does it produce? 3. Find the strategic context. No trait is inherently good or bad. Its value depends on the context. Public speaking might be a weakness in a large auditorium, but deep listening is a strength in a negotiation. Where would this weakness actually become an advantage? What kind of situation or role would perfectly fit this characteristic? This is not about self-deception. It's about self-awareness at a higher level. It's about consciously choosing a more empowering and ultimately more accurate definition of yourself. Andrew Carnegie, for instance, openly acknowledged he wasn't the most charismatic orator or the most technically brilliant engineer. His weakness was the inability to do everything himself, but he reframed this as a strength. He became a master at assembling a team of brilliant minds and getting them to work together. His lack of a specific skill forced him to develop a superior strategic skill. This radical reframe is the ignition point. It's the mental maneuver that breaks you free from self-imposed limitations and opens your mind to new possibilities. Until you change your lens, you will forever be trapped by your old definitions. Change your definition, and you change your destiny. This is the foundation of strategic power. You've radically reframed your perceived weakness. You've identified its inherent characteristic, its potential, its inverse power. Now, the second strategic step is to understand and apply the art of asymmetry. This principle states that you don't have to beat your competition or overcome an obstacle by playing their game, on their terms, using their perceived strengths. True strategic genius lies in finding an unconventional advantage, using your unique characteristics, even those you once called weaknesses, in ways that your competition or the problem itself doesn't anticipate. Asymmetry is about striking where you are strong and where the opponent least expects it, even if your strength is unconventional. Think of the story of David and Goliath. Goliath's strength was overwhelming size and brute force, a direct, symmetrical advantage. David's weakness was his small stature and lack of traditional armor, but he didn't try to outmuscle Goliath. He used an asymmetrical weapon, a sling and a stone, striking where Goliath was most vulnerable, his head. He didn't play on Goliath's terms. In your life, this means, 1, don't compete on their terms. If your weakness is that you're not a boisterous networker, don't try to be the loudest person in the room. Your strength might be cultivating deep, one-on-one relationships built on trust and genuine connection. That's asymmetrical to superficial mass networking. If your weakness is a lack of vast financial resources compared to a competitor, don't try to outspend them. Your asymmetrical advantage might be superior agility, innovative guerrilla marketing, or a more passionate, loyal customer base. 2, identify the unconventional angle. This requires creative thinking. Given your reframed weakness, what unique approach does it allow you to take that others can't or won't? For example, if your weakness is your highly analytical and perhaps slower decision-making process compared to fast-paced competitors, your asymmetrical strength might be avoiding costly mistakes, building fundamentally sound strategies, or identifying overlooked details that others miss in their haste. 3, strike where least expected or undervalued. Where are your competitors, or the problem's traditional solutions, vulnerable to your unique approach? If your weakness is that you're an outsider in an industry, your asymmetrical advantage might be fresh perspective, an ability to see established practices with new eyes, or a willingness to break rules others are stuck to. If your weakness is a small team, your asymmetrical advantage might be superior communication, extreme focus on a niche, or the ability to pivot rapidly where large organizations are slow. The art of asymmetry is about playing a different game, where your unique composition becomes an asset, not a liability. Many successful individuals I observed didn't become strong by eliminating their weaknesses. They became powerful by understanding them, accepting them, and then strategically deploying them in ways no one anticipated. They didn't conform to the expected path. They forged their own, using their perceived detours as shortcuts. This requires courage. It requires the willingness to be different, to stand out, and to trust that your unique path, born from your unique characteristics, can lead to superior results. Stop trying to be someone else. Start learning to be the most powerful version of you, leveraging every part of your unique design. You've reframed your weakness. You've identified its asymmetrical advantage. Now for the third critical strategic step, the forge of resilience. Many people believe that avoiding struggle is the path to strength. They try to sidestep challenges related to their perceived weaknesses, hoping these areas will simply disappear or never be tested. But this is a grave error. Your greatest strength is often not discovered in comfort, but hammered into being through friction and adversity. The very act of confronting a situation where your weakness might be exposed, and then persevering through it, builds a unique kind of strength, a mental and emotional toughness that those who never face such challenges simply do not possess. Think of it like this. A blacksmith doesn't create a strong sword by keeping the metal cool. He heats it, hammers it, quenches it, and repeats the process. Each act of stress makes the metal stronger, more durable, and more capable of holding an edge. Similarly, a muscle doesn't grow in repose. It grows by being stretched, strained, and tested. Your perceived weaknesses, when you choose to engage with them strategically, become the very forge where your resilience is built. How does this process work? 1. Forced adaptation. When you face a situation where your traditional strength isn't enough, your mind is forced to adapt. You become more resourceful, more creative, and more innovative in finding solutions that others, relying solely on their existing strengths, might overlook. This often leads to breakthroughs. For instance, someone lacking natural charisma might be forced to develop superior presentation skills, compelling data, or an unshakable logical argument to compensate, ultimately becoming more persuasive in a deeper way. 2. Emotional fortitude. Repeatedly navigating challenges related to a perceived weakness and coming out on the other side builds a deep well of emotional resilience. You learn to handle discomfort, uncertainty, and setbacks with greater calm and determination. The individual who has faced multiple business failures might develop an almost impenetrable mental armor against risk and disappointment, allowing them to pursue ventures others would shrink from. 3. Unique perspective. Overcoming challenges tied to a weakness gives you a unique perspective. You understand the struggle in a way others cannot, allowing you to connect with, lead, or serve those facing similar issues with genuine empathy and hard-earned wisdom. This creates trust and influence. A leader who struggled with a learning disability early in life might possess an unparalleled understanding of perseverance and unconventional learning methods, making them an inspiring mentor to others facing similar hurdles. This isn't about masochism, it's about strategic growth. It's about turning every obstacle into an opportunity to temper your spirit and sharpen your capabilities. Embrace the friction. Lean into the discomfort that your reframed weakness might present. For it is precisely in these moments of challenge that you are not being held back, but are actively forging an unbreakable strength that will serve you and your definite chief aim in ways no conventional strength ever could. You've reframed your weakness, developed asymmetrical advantages, and forged unbreakable resilience through the process. Now, the final, crucial strategic step is strategic application. Possessing this newfound power is one thing. Knowing where and how to deploy it is another entirely. Many individuals gain insights but fail to translate them into tangible results because they don't consciously identify the precise arenas where their reframed weakness can become their most potent weapon. A sword is only powerful in the hands of a warrior who knows where to aim. This step is about deliberate targeting. It's about scanning your environment, your opportunities, and your challenges, specifically looking for situations where your unique, unconventional strength will not just be helpful, but decisive. How to strategically apply your new power. 1. Identify the blind spots of the norm. Most industries, professions, and problems have conventional approaches. These approaches often create blind spots or vulnerabilities to anything that deviates from the norm. Your reframed weakness, which by its nature is unconventional, is perfectly positioned to exploit these blind spots. Example, if your strength is meticulous, introverted analysis, a former weakness in a fast-talking sales environment, your sweet spot might be in deep market research, financial modeling, or strategic planning, where detailed accuracy trumps quick charisma. These are areas where others might rush and make mistakes. 2. Seek environments that value your unique angle. Don't try to fit a square peg into a round hole. Instead of trying to force your reframed power into a context that doesn't appreciate it, seek out environments where it is naturally valued or even desperately needed. Example, if your strength is a profound empathy gained from past struggles, once a weakness of being too sensitive, you might excel in fields like human resources, customer relations, therapy, or leadership roles requiring deep understanding and genuine connection, where a purely logical approach fails. 3. Target specific problems where others struggle. Look for challenges that baffle those who rely solely on conventional strengths. Your unique perspective, born from your weakness, might hold the key. Example, if your strength is unconventional problem solving born from a non-traditional education, once a weakness in academic circles, you might be the perfect fit for startup environments or innovation labs that thrive on disruptive thinking, rather than established corporate structures. 4. Embrace the underdog mentality. Don't be afraid to take on challenges where you are perceived as the underdog. This often means your opponents will underestimate you, failing to see the unique, asymmetrical advantages you bring to the table. The greatest victories are often won before the battle, by the strategist who understands how to turn their apparent limitations into a decisive, unexpected edge. Strategic application is the bridge between internal transformation and external triumph. It's the conscious decision to play where you can win, using the very qualities you once thought were holding you back. By understanding where to strike, you cease to be a victim of your perceived weaknesses and become a master architect of your own unique path to power. We've reached the end of our journey through the strategic mindset. You've learned to radically reframe your perceived weaknesses, seeing their inherent characteristics and potential. Master the art of asymmetry, leveraging your unique traits in unconventional ways. Embrace the forge of resilience, allowing challenges to hammer you into unbreakable strength. And finally, strategically, apply your newfound power to specific situations where it can be decisive. Now, I want to leave you with the most profound truth. Your ultimate strength lies not in the absence of challenges, nor in the eradication of perceived flaws, but in your mindset of transformation. Most people are fixed in their thinking. They label themselves, label their situations, and then believe those labels are immutable. If they are shy, they will always be shy. If they failed, they are forever a failure. This rigid thinking is the true weakness. The strategic mind, however, is fluid. It understands that reality is not fixed, but malleable, especially the reality you create within your own mind. It sees every limitation as an invitation to innovate, every weakness as a call to power, every setback as a setup for a comeback. This isn't just optimism. This is practical alchemy. It's the ability to take the raw, often unappealing material of a perceived deficit and through conscious thought and deliberate action, transform it into a refined, powerful asset. Consider the individuals I studied. Did Henry Ford always possess perfect foresight? No, he faced immense skepticism and mechanical failures, but he used every setback as data, refining his approach until his vision became reality. His persistence, born from these struggles, was a transmuted strength. Did Andrew Carnegie, with his lack of formal education, simply ignore it? No. He strategically compensated by hiring and empowering brilliant minds, turning his weakness into a system for leveraging collective genius. Your external world will always present you with challenges, but your internal world, your mindset, dictates how those challenges define you. You are not defined by what others say you lack. You are not defined by a single past mistake. You are not defined by a trait that society labels as a deficit. You are defined by your response to these things. By choosing to adopt this strategic mindset, you are choosing empowerment over victimhood. You become the architect of your destiny, not a passive recipient of circumstances. Innovation over convention. You find new ways, unique paths, and solutions others overlook. Unbreakable resilience. You build a spirit that bends but does not break, gaining strength with every pressure. This is the ultimate competitive advantage. It's the secret to not just surviving but thriving in any environment, no matter the challenges you face. So I urge you, look at what you've long called a weakness. Stop seeing it as a wall. Begin today to see it as a lever, a unique tool, a hidden pathway. Embrace your full, authentic self, every perceived strength and every reframed weakness. For within that complete understanding lies your truest, most formidable power. Your journey to greatness begins not when you eliminate what you lack, but when you master the art of transforming it. Remember, your success begins the moment you decide to act.